Hello, guys. Welcome to another live stream. Today is Sunday, and I usually do these live streams every Sunday. Sorry, I was a little late on this one. I was playing around with possibly doing a live stream with my computer instead of my phone, just to have better audio and better video. But that didn't work out, so we are going to do the phone today. So maybe next week I will, now that I kind of understand how it goes together, maybe I'll do a live stream on the computer. So thank you guys for tuning in today, and just going to talk some movies because that's the best part of this channel. So uh, first off, though, do I sound okay to everybody? I know that I think last week my audio wasn't the greatest, but I'm trying to also get the tripod to adjust how I want it. Okay, do I sound okay to people? Um, Before I jump into things. Hello, welcome to the live stream. I'll try this. Okay. But yeah, if you guys could just let me know if the audio sounds good on your end, I would appreciate that. Um, but unfortunately, my AirPods are dead at the moment, so I do not I can't use the microphone on those. But yeah, audio is good. Sweet, thank you. Appreciate it. So as all of my other live streams start off, I just kind of talk about what I watched this week, and just kind of going over some of the things that I'm currently watching, or I'm going to be watching, I guess. Or I don't know if I really talk about things I'm going to be watching, but this week was actually kind of a weird week for me in regards to watching things. And I'll explain that in a second. So, if you are new here, welcome. And if I know I've said this every single live stream, so I apologize to the people that have tuned into all of these, but I'm going to say it anyways. One of my goals for this year is to watch 365 movies, not necessarily one movie a day, but just that number collectively. So, um, the I'm basically just been trying to watch as much as I can. TV shows. I'm also one of my goals is to watch more of TV shows this year, and I count 2 episodes as one film, unless if they're like 20-minute episodes, which I'll get into something I started watching this week, and they were 20-minute episodes, so I'm actually counting 4 of those as one episode. So last weekend I was out at a wedding. So if either the bride or groom is watching, because I know sometimes one of them tunes in, but congratulations. And yeah, so it was a good time. But I guess today is I guess yeah, that's why I wasn't here for the last live stream. But starting things off on the 10th, so this would have been last Sunday, I believe. I think today is the 17th. Um, the I started watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is a show that I really enjoy. I really actually I feel like it's consistently been really funny throughout its entire run. Um, and they kind of stopped putting out these the seasons on disc, which is unfortunate because I like collecting them. But um, I ended up just watching season 11, pretty much, and just watched straight through the entire season. And then I started season 12 on Monday. So I just have that written out in my book because I've been watching it on Hulu, so I haven't I don't have a physical copy to show you. But on Tuesday, the 11th, I believe this is. Yeah, I need to start writing in the actual dates because I just have the actual I just have the date. But um, the on the 12th of the of March, yeah, we're in March. On the 12th, I watched Last Night in Soho, which this was the first time I watched this, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a lot of fun. Um, and I've been listening to the soundtrack all weekend for this, but it's fantastic. I would highly recommend checking this out. It's Edgar Wright, which is the same director as Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, uh, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and Baby Driver. And he's a very talented filmmaker, and I just feel like this is definitely worth checking out. It's just like a lot of fun, very interesting concept of a film. And then, so that was movie number 99 for me. So I had to pick a movie for number 100 that I felt like it was kind of a special one, something that I've been wanting to see for a while that I just keep putting off. Um, and so this was on the 13th of the month, and I decided to sit down and actually watch straight through this. This movie is, let's see, 165 minutes long, so it's fairly long. Um, and this is actually a Region B Blu-ray. So this was the first time that I got to try out my region-free player. Um, and so I was very excited to try that out. But this is from Eureka, and that is the film On the Silver Globe. So this is Andrzej Zulawski's film. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but um, I think this is also in Polish, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's made in Poland. Very, very interesting film. If you are not familiar with this, I would highly recommend checking this out. It is it's just a very interesting and fascinating film, and in a lot of ways, it's very interesting the backstory of this movie too. And so they got like 80% done filming this movie, and the Polish government shut down the production because I think that they thought it was a propaganda, or it was like there's like some politicalness behind it, and so they basically shut it down and ordered all the costumes and any film prints to be burned. Um, Thankfully, though, one film print actually still existed, at least one film print. Um, and the only downside with it was that it really, I feel so bad for this director, Andrzej Zulawski. Zulawski, I think that's how you say his name. Andrzej Zulawski. He had a really rough life. His story is also very fascinating too, because it seems like he kept getting kicked out of different countries and just blacklisted and all this stuff of just being really like just a hard life. And so this is a very interesting film. And so I believe it was 10 years later, he revisited this, and obviously at that point all the costumes and the sets and all these things have been destroyed, and so he couldn't necessarily go back and film that remaining 20% of the film that he wanted. So he had to basically compromise and just film shots of Poland and do voiceover. um, and so in that way it's a little hard to follow at times. However, this film is just, it's a beautiful, you feel like you're in another like world, which I would highly recommend any film person to get their hands on a copy of this. For the longest time, this was a very, very hard film to come by. I don't even know if it was mass like produced anywhere. I think this is the first time it's been on Blu-ray, at least through Eureka. Um, and yeah, it's very fascinating. Um, and I would say if you like foreign and sci-fi, this is definitely a must check out. And so yeah, it reminds me a lot of if like Alejandro Jodorowsky actually made Dune, like his version of Dune. It's kind of like these like what if movies, like what if this actually came out, or what if this actually happened. And so this was one of those that I'm glad that it actually did come out as much as even if it's only 80% complete. I'm glad that we have a copy of this. So I really can't talk highly enough about this movie. It's great. And so yeah, it was that's like the last like physical disc that I watched this month or this week. Because then I continued just to watch some more Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then on the 14th, I watched Infinity Pool, which was also on Hulu, which is a film that I've just been wanting to see. It's put out by David Cronenberg's son. I believe his name's Brandon Cronenberg, if I'm not mistaken. But he also put out, where is it? I know I have a copy. Yes. Yes, Brandon Cronenberg. He also put out this film, which I enjoyed. And I thought it was an interesting film. But Infinity Pool is one that I've been wanting to check out for a while now, and so yeah, I'm glad that I was able to watch it on Hulu, even though I'd like to get it on disc eventually. But for now, I guess I'll just use streaming service. But that's pretty much like, I mean, and after I watched Infinity Pool, then I just kind of went back to Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This weekend was pretty busy for me, and so I was not really able to sit down and watch anything yet this weekend. But tonight I'm gonna just basically do nothing, which is I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's pretty much all I watched this week. I feel like I watched a lot of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's a very easy show just to binge. Um, and yeah, if you guys are interested, I'd highly recommend checking out Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's funny. It's great. But yeah, what are some things that you guys watched this week? Let me get to the comments. I feel like I missed a couple. Ralph is here. Good evening. Hi, Kyle. Nice to see you again. Hello. Um, but did anybody in that's watching? Let's see. Recently, I watched My Life as a Dog, 1985, in a pop-up cinema around the corner. Brilliant film. Yes, yes, yes. That is 1985. Yes. I've seen this once before too. It's very interesting. Um, yeah, I remember really liking this actually. I would like to get this on a Blu-ray, but yeah, I remember really enjoying this. Um, but it's I mean, I love those. Like I wish that more like theaters did showings of just like stuff like that, where it's just foreign film and just it's kind of like I went to go see Pandora's Box a few months ago in a like it was kind of like almost like a college campus situation, which was a lot of fun. But um, did anybody that is watching get the what's his name? James Cameron 4Ks that recently came out? The Abyss, True Lies, and Aliens. I'm curious if anyone got those and what are your thoughts on them? Because I have not picked up any of them, but I definitely want to grab Aliens because it's one of my favorite series, and I'd love to grab that on a 4K. But yes, so I'm also trying to think what else happened this week in regards to movies. Um, I've been diving into, let's see, watched Imaginary, not bad horror film. Yeah, I thought it looked interesting. I think it's Blumhouse that put it out, if I'm not mistaken. And I would love to actually, get a chance to watch it. I still need to go see Dune Part Two. I haven't got a chance to go out to the theater yet. So maybe this week I'll make it out there. But um, I'm behind in everything, which is unfortunate. But um, yeah, I'm very excited though because for my next collection update video that I will be doing, um, I'm excited to show off a couple of things that I recently picked up. Yeah, this wedding that I attended last weekend, it was about 3 hours away, um, and so on the way home, me and my wife stopped at a few different stores, and I'm excited to share with you guys what I picked up. So, um, but also, I should add that I recently, which I left my notebook upstairs, but I recently filled, or not filled, but I have a notebook for all of my Criterion. So really, out of everything that I like, my whole collection, the only thing I really like catalog is Criterion. That way, I can just keep track of things that I've if it's available on Blu-ray, if it's out of print, or if I own it. And then I also have a keep track of the spine numbers. I made the notebook before 4K was like a thing, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to like say if it's available on 4K. But that way, if I'm out and about and I have my notebook, I can just quickly flip through it, find the movie, see if it's available on Blu-ray, see if I own it. Um, because I've tried different apps before, and I just feel like they're always you pretty much have to always like pay for them at a certain point. And so I decided just a notebook would be easier. But along with my Criterion films, I decided to also have a notebook for all of the Criterion Laserdiscs. And so I am very excited because I finally finished making my complete list um, in um, the sorry, I was reading a comment, but I'll get to you in a second. But I finally completed a complete list of um my like Criterion laser discs that are available. Um and so there is let's see, I'm trying to think. There's the CLV and the CAV, which is really just dependent on uh, like the type of play, or if there's like 2 discs or 3 discs or whatever. The packaging I keep track of, so it has what's called a gatefold, which I believe I talked about this briefly in my Criterion Laserdisc video. But one of my goals is to have all of the Criterion Laserdiscs, and so um, I also am going to be keeping track of all of the ones that I have, and then stuff like that. So obviously they're all out of print because they don't make laser discs anymore, and so um, yeah, I filled up pretty much like 16 pages of notebook of a composition notebook of Criterion laser discs, which um, was a lot of fun because I feel like on the Criterion website, there's nothing like they don't have anything for their laser discs. So I had to, between watching a video put out by Daisuke Beppu, which if you are not familiar with and you like Criterion, highly recommend checking his channel out. Um, and between his collection video and the Laserdisc database, I just kind of wrote out each one, and I've been working on that project for like off and on for a few months, and so, but I finally actually finished it, which is very exciting. So now I have a complete look at what is put out on Criterion Laserdisc, which there is some interesting movies. Like I didn't know that the film Seven was put out by Criterion on Laserdisc. I mean, everybody knows the Halloween, but there was another one that I thought was surprising. Um, but oops, I just kicked the tripod. Um, but yeah, let me go back up here. Kyle, are you looking for laser discs, or is it just something you might pick up if you randomly see? Oh, I think you may have just answered it as soon as I typed it. So yes and no to that question. Um, Basically, if I come across laser discs at just say like an antique store, whenever I go, I mean, I like try to go to antique stores semi often, not super often, but um, and if I come across like a laser disc that is something that I want, I'll grab it if it's cheap enough. The two types of laser discs, I should say, there's 3 types of laser discs that I am um, like really like on the hunt for, if I guess. One being horror. So if they're horror laser discs, I mean, I collect horror VHS. I love the horror laser disc world as well. I feel like there's a lot of interesting looking artworks and stuff. I'll grab it. Usually those are going to be more expensive. Um, and But I mean, I got lucky a few times finding horror laser discs very cheap, and so that's one that I will always look out for. The next one being foreign films, and so stuff that is kind of like more artsy, more like harder to find stuff, like not your run of the mill titles. Um, and if I come across those at a good price and it looks interesting, I'll pick it up. But by far the one that I am uh, mainly looking for is a Criterion laser discs. And so those are the ones that I would love to have the complete collection, and that is including both the CLV versions and the CAV versions of each disc, because sometimes the packaging is different. Sometimes there's what's called the gatefold, where it actually like opens up as a book. There's box sets and stuff like that, and so um, yeah, Criterion Laserdisc is what I would love to have a complete collection, because I would also, if you're new here, my one of my goals is to have a complete Criterion collection as well, which I'm about halfway there, which is I keep telling myself, like, every sale that comes around, and like I want to buy all of them, but I keep telling myself, I'm like, well, I have about half of them, and there's a lot that I still need to watch, and so I'm still working my way through everything that I have not seen within the catalog. But yeah, so those are the laser discs that I'm really after. And I would like to, maybe on eBay start ordering some of these like Criterion discs, because they're relatively not that expensive. I mean, I'd say on average about $10 to $15 a disc, roughly, which isn't horrible. It really depends on the title. Um, but I mean, like, Halloween is one that people always like look to, and that one is fairly expensive. Which I'm grateful I do have that one already. But Akira is another one too, the anime film, which is, I know, is actually pretty expensive as well. So there's going to be a few in there that are going to be, making it pretty expensive. But um, yeah, those are the ones that I'm after. So I missed a bunch of comments. Let me go back. Also watched some okay films: Project X, Free Fire, and Hitman, and entertaining but nothing great. Out of all of those, I think I've only seen Project X, Ralph. But yeah, I saw it a long, long time ago. Um, let's see. Ever see Naked Lunch? I have seen Naked Lunch. Actually, it's on the. Uh, yes, I have the Criterion here of Naked Lunch, which actually David Cronenberg's birthday was this last week. And so I would like to dive into more of his films. I feel like he's an interesting director. I've seen most of them, but there's a couple that I have not seen, which I would like to actually to watch. But yes, Naked Lunch is a very fascinating film. Not for everyone, but it is an interesting film. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay. I have the Hellraiser disc. I have the Hellraiser Laserdisc box set. I want that so bad. I had an opportunity to buy it. I think it was $50. Um, and I thought it looked so cool. I would love to pick it up sometime, but unfortunately, it is kind of expensive. And so it would be great to display. I feel like it has such a cool look to it. That's what I love about Laserdisc. I feel like their artwork is just, it's awesome. It looks so cool. And I mean, the quality isn't the greatest, but like, it's watchable. And I don't know. I would love to I like excuse me, I would love to get more of those like giant, like really nice box sets. But just watched Brazil. Fun. I love Brazil. I think it's a fantastic film. I really would like to get I mean, I have the DVD set, if you can, maybe right there. Yeah, that's the DVD Criterion set, which I really would like to get the Blu-ray set eventually, because I've only seen it on DVD. But I would love if Criterion put that out on 4K. I feel like that would be fantastic to see on 4K. But um, let's see. What are your thoughts on the Phantom Menace? It's beyond underrated, and I love everything. Let's see. I love everything of it. Um, hmm. So it's not my favorite prequel film. I'm assuming you're talking about, yeah, the Star Wars Phantom Menace. The Phantom. Yeah, I'm assuming there's only one Phantom Menace, and that's, Episode One of Star Wars. Um, it's not my favorite prequel film. Episode Three is probably my favorite prequel film, mainly because it came out at like the right possible time for me. Um, and it was like the only Star Wars of the original series that I saw in theaters, and it was kind of like right as I was getting into Star Wars. But um, and the I don't know. I really liked it. I mean, at the time, especially when I first watched it, I really liked it. I mean, the Phantom Menace was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw, so it does kind of have like that little bit of nostalgia-ness to me. Um, that kind of holds a special spot in my heart for, because I remember watching it on my uncle's TV with his like surround sound. It was like the first time I ever watched Star Wars, and especially during the pod racing scene, it just like that changed. I mean, technically changed my life forever, because then I got really into Star Wars. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't hate it, and I think a lot of people really hate it. But I would watch the Phantom Menace any day over any of the Disney Star Wars movies. So that's, I guess, how I feel about it. Um, but um, Menace to Society on Criterion. I do not have either, because I know they put it on late. I'm assuming. Let's see, Space Chase Cards. I'm assuming you're talking about the 4K, because I know they put it out on 4K, and they also put it out on Laserdisc, which I have neither of them, which I really would like to get. And so I need to. There's a lot of those 4Ks that they kept putting out that I need to just buy, but. Um, Let's see. Are you a member of the Blu-ray forum? If so, what's your experience there? I am not a member. I've looked through it before, just mainly to see what the new releases are, but I'm not a member on the forum, unfortunately. So I can't comment if I have a good experience or not. But original Halloween is 6. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Unless you're saying the original Halloween is $60. I don't know. Um, let's see. Daisuke Beppu's Criterion video is such a useful checklist. I agree. I have watched all of his like full collection videos so many times, um, and yeah, it's such a the fact that he has everything of every different artwork variation, all the different laser discs, and it's so useful to just refer to see, exactly what he's what Daisuke is like what's available within the collection. Sorry, I just blanked there for a second, but wow, I'm really behind on the comments. The last movie I watched was Dr. X, 1932. I have not seen that, um, but I hope you enjoyed it. Project X with Matthew Broderick from 1987 is actually fun. Yes, I know there is a Project X like movie. I mean from '87 that I would actually really like to check out of it eventually too. But my birthday is today. Happy birthday, Space Chase Cards. So thank you for spending your birthday here on the live stream. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Criterion's laserdisc of This Is Spinal Tap is a good one. Yes, they actually. So I did find out there is 2 different laserdiscs through the Criterion collection with 2 different spine numbers of This Is Spinal Tap. They did this a few times throughout their whole like catalog of discs. Similar with like Blade Runner. There's 2 different Blade Runner movies within the collection. One is a gatefold, which again it's like when it opens up like a book and there's like discs on either side, kind of like a vinyl record. um and then the other one is just a single sleeve, also like a vinyl. But yeah, I would love to, like, man, I wish they would get the rights back for This Is Spinal Tap. It's such a fun movie. Plus I have to hold on to I have a Blu-ray copy of it, and so I still have my my Criterion DVD, but I still hold on to my Blu-ray copy too to have a better quality. But that's one that I'm gonna have to pick up eventually. But um, let's see. Let's see. Darth Maul was supposed to be villain for 7, 8, 9, and 10 or slash 10. I'm assuming you talk about the Star Wars films. I mean Darth Maul, yeah. It's interesting. I didn't know that. Warner Archive favorites. Ooh, that is a hard one. I'd probably say so. This movie, there's actually a story behind it. Um, I don't. I mean, I do have to admit, I do have a small Warner Archives collection right there, but I don't tend to watch these very often. But this is one that I've seen, and I really actually enjoy. But that is the film Then Came Bronson. So there was a TV show, and I believe this was the pilot episode of the TV show, which was a 98-minute episode. Um, Now the reason I like this, it has a sentimental reason, is my when my dad was younger, he watched this and it inspired him and a buddy to do a cross country road trip on motorcycles, and so he did that when he was 18 years old, in the 60s, I believe. So the or maybe it was 70s because this came out in 69. Yeah, I think it was 70s. Um, but I like growing up he would always talk about this story of this motorcycle trip and stuff, so um yeah, this is the movie that inspired his trip, and so this I watched it, and I see why. It's a fun motorcycle movie. But that's I would probably say off the top of my head that's probably my favorite Warner Archive title. Now I know there's a lot that I have not seen, like, and they do put out a lot of interesting things. Um and so I really need to dive into that label more. Admittedly, I haven't really dove in that. I usually pick them up if I see them cheap enough, and so, um, but yeah, that's how I am with the Warner Archive. So I need to to get into that. But um, this one goes to 11. I'm not sure what you mean by that, buddy. Let's see. Warner Archive is releasing Joe's Apartment. Very underrated. I'll have to check that out. I've not actually heard of Joe's Apartment. Good evening, Kyle and online fam via NYC. Question: do you have 90s classic Heather's on DVD / Blu-ray? Do I have that? Hmm. I don't think I do. Yeah, I am. Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. I just this one goes to 11. Spinal Tap reference. Gotcha, gotcha. I forgot about that. Yeah, I do not have Heather's on DVD or Blu-ray. I might have it on VHS, but I'm not sure. I think at some point I did own it, but I'm not sure if I still have it or not. I'll have to check it out if I do have it though. Do you have do you have to do a lot of dusting every now and then for your collection room? Yeah, I should dust it more. I don't do enough, nearly enough that I really should. Um, and yeah, I still have I still need to get doors for my movie room. And so I mean, you kind of see in some of my videos, maybe like the I mean, my last my last video that I posted, you kind of see the curtains behind me. And so there is definitely um the it's like a I don't know, there's definitely like dust that still gets into the room. And so I should be dusting more. I mean, especially all of my different players and stuff. I mean, those things just collect dust like no one's business. But movies, like in regards to movies, I'd say my movies don't really get that dusty, mainly because of the shelving that I have. It's pretty much like nothing can get on top of them. Um, like it's just, I mean, that's fairly clean on top of each VHS tape and stuff like that. But there's some sections of the movie room that are definitely dustier than others. But um, let's see. Then Came Bronson is great. Yes, Michael Park. Yep. I Yeah, it's fun. Good evening, Kyle. I am really scared of gore. Can you recommend any horror movies that will be easier for me to watch? Ooh. So if you don't like gory horror movies, I mean, there's like classics, like I mean, obviously Jaws. I mean, that's not super gory. There's films like The Blair Witch Project. Again, not super bad. I'm trying to think of like pretty not gory films. Uh, um, wow, I'm trying to like I'm blanking now on those. Um, I'd say like if you lean towards more like supernatural horror, I feel like those tend not to be gory. Slashers are pretty much going to be mostly gory. Um, I'd say like the Alien films, there's like a little bit of gore in those, but they're like I don't know, it's aliens and stuff. I mean, if you really like, I mean, the classics, obviously like the Universal monster movies. Um, hmm, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to think about that. I will. I definitely like. I'm blanking on all of the ones that I would recommend, but um, I don't know. I would say lean more into the supernatural horror because I feel like they're not going to be as gory. Like I mean, Exorcist isn't super gory. There's like a couple scenes I think of gore, but um, it's more of just like the atmosphere, I guess, of what the movies are. But let's go back. Can't wait for the for new Jordan Peele. Um, let's see. I have the blood red laserdisc of Evil Dead 2. Apparently, very rare, real gem. I would love to have that. I would love to have the because it looks so cool. Um, it is. I would say it is fairly rare. Um, and especially now with like the wave of like the retro stuff coming back, which I guess kind of it's still like that happened a while ago, but it's still happening. Um, the blood red Evil Dead 2 Laserdisc would look so cool. So someday I'll get that one, but happy that you have. That's awesome. Um, and Anchor favorites. Ooh, hmm. So I really like these Anchor Bay tins up here. I don't know if you can see this from there, but those are some of my favorites probably. And I'm trying to think. I don't necessarily like put Anchor Bay titles together. Pretty much do that for everything else besides Anchor Bay, mainly because I don't know if I necessarily want to put them as a boutique label. But yeah, I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, I would say I was gonna say those Anchor Bay tins of Halloween 4 and 5, The Beyond, Maniac, and Hellraiser, and Evil Dead 2. So those are just some that I have. But uh, good evening, Jim from TGY Tangier. I don't know if I'm yeah. Use from the UK. Gotcha. Okay, I was like that. Okay, yeah. Good evening, Jim from the UK. That's awesome. Um, Desert Island 3. Not sure what you mean by there. Um, yes, I have it on VHS as well. Heather's gotcha. Godfather 2, Lost Ark, Empire. Um, can you recommend me any great Korean horror movies? Ooh, that's a hard one. I don't know if. Hmm. I don't know. I don't think I have good recommendations for Korean horror. I'm sure I'm gonna eventually think of one, but I can't say that I've seen a lot. I'm sure if I Google and like I'll come across some that I've seen, but Overall, I have not gotten a chance to check out Korean horror movies. So sorry about that. Um, let's see. If you don't want gore, watch a lot of the great classics, 30s and 40s horror movies. Yes, I would agree. Split was underrated. I have not seen Split actually. I need to get on that. I have it. I just have not gotten around to checking it out. And Battle Royale is also fantastic. Icebreaker. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Twilight Zone. Anchor Bay was one of the first boutiques. Yeah, I know that they're technically a boutique label. Um but I don't know, I don't know. Cuz I feel like old Anchor Bay versus new Anchor Bay, like I don't know if it's like still carries over, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. Like what a boutique label is. Um but maybe it is. I don't know. I go back and forth with Anchor Bay. Um and I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth if I like consider it to be a boutique label, because if it is, I have a lot to put onto my boutique shelf. Um, let's see. Also, do you own another classic film, um, Enemy Territory, NYC 80s flick, one of Tony Todd's first films? Enemy Territories. I don't think I do. I've not seen it. Um, but yeah, I'll have to check that out too. Next movie at the pop up cinema is My Beautiful 1985 is worth watching. I've not seen that one either. I'm sorry. I cannot say one way or the other. Um, let's see. Well, any Asian horror will do, but it's okay if you can't think of any. Don't worry. Asian horror films. I saw one semi recently in it's within the Criterion collection. I feel like this was pretty good. I think this is horror. It's from Japan. It's 1965, which I liked. And yeah, I mean, this might be the closest that I can get. Was like in regards to horror, or Asian horror. Um, hmm. I might have to do a like maybe like a different horror movie recommendations from around the world. So maybe I'll do something like that someday. But maybe I'll do that for next Halloween. But let's see. Sorry, I have to like dying of thirst. Um, do you also collect games? So I kind of do. Yes and no. When I worked at a movie store, they also sold video games, and so I'd get them fairly cheap. Um, and so I have a very small collection of video games. And it's mainly just looking like mainly just like games that are related to movies in a way. Um, I know technically these games came first before the movie, but the Resident Evil games, I'd like to collect all of those, because I mean, the Resident Evil series is like a guilty pleasure of mine. I love that series. But Resident Evil games, I also love the concept of those, so I'd love to get all of those. But I mean, I have some of like the Lego games, some of the Alien games. Um, I like horror related games, and so I like stuff like that. I also should say I love video games that are like more on rails. So like more like story driven video games. So stuff like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, stuff like that, where it's like you have to play out the missions a certain way. The open world games just really aren't my thing. So I'm also just not a big gamer to begin with. But my favorite game of all time though was is Half-Life. I just love that game so much, and so, um, but yeah. And then I also in like in other types of games, I would say like board games. I have like just movie related board games as well. So, but I'm not a huge game person, I guess. And it usually has to do with collecting as a film thing than a game thing. But um, do you collect animated series from the night or from the '60s and or to '90s? I do not. Um, Animated series. I'm assuming television, like TV shows. Um, and I don't really collect anything like that. I think I have like one season of like the Muppets, but I think that's the closest thing that I have. But yeah, I animated stuff. I'm not like it's not really my go-to stuff, but love Anchor Bay. I have it on VHS. Yes, please, you must. Enemy Territory, indeed. Cool. You have inspired me to collect DVDs again. That's awesome. I appreciate that. That's fun. Um, and I love collecting collecting physical media. It's so fun, and I think like it's so easy to get caught up in the I must be buying the latest releases, or I must be getting, I must only be buying 4K or only Blu-ray. But I think like you miss out on so much just cool stuff, and like the Hellraiser box set that I was talking about earlier, it's just a really cool release. I mean, it's Laserdisc, and most people, I'd say, the average person doesn't even know what a laserdisc is anymore. Um, but it's a cool thing to collect, and I think it's a cool thing to have, and so um, I don't know. That's how I feel about like DVDs too. I mean, I'll still buy DVDs if I come across them at a good price. Even within the Criterion collection, I mean, it's still just I don't know. I mean, I collect VHS tapes and I don't know. It's fun stuff to collect for. I mean, film is still really cool to collect, but um, yeah, I mean, I love that people get inspired to buy stuff, but I am so stoked as I just received my 4K 20th anniversary edition of Big Lebowski. That's awesome. I feel like that movie would look awesome in 4K. Um, I think I only have it on Blu-ray, I believe. I think I have a digibook of it, but um, speaking of video games, I own Michael Jackson's Moonwalker Classic. Nice. Um, I think yeah, the store that I worked for, the movie store, I think that came in at least once. I'm pretty sure. But uh, I love the Silent Hill games. I would love to actually play those. I don't have any of the Silent Hill video games, but um, I really wish some of these games, because Resident Evil I know is like this too, where like there's some that were just super hard to find now, and they're like really expensive. Um, and that's a problem too, is I don't necessarily want to invest a bunch of money in video games. I have a ton that I've never played that I just need to get around to playing, but at one point I had a ton of video games and I sold off a lot of them just because I'm never going to play them, and so I'd rather spend the money on movies and stuff that I'm actually going to watch and enjoy. But um, how is your TV show goal coming so far? So I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the live stream, but I talked briefly about how I started watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is definitely more TV shows. Like it's definitely, I mean, it's a TV show, and so I've been watching quite a bit of that this week. Um, but I unfortunately don't own any of the later seasons of that show, and so I just kind of I don't know. I've been watching it on Hulu, which is unfortunate because it's like I would like to be watching on disc, but yeah, I mean once I kind of get through that show, which I think I have like one season left, um, maybe one or two, but once I get through that show, then I'm gonna jump back into finishing out Hannibal and then diving into another show that I have on disc. There's just so much to watch, and it's a lot. But um, here in England, let's see, Odin Cinema chain are chains are showing DMP series uncut 80s horror films, including Scanners, Brain Dead, Hellraiser, and Hellbound. We'll be watching Ro- Romeo's Day. Yeah, George Romero. Sorry, Romero's Day of the Dead uncut next. That's awesome. Man, I wish theaters around here would do stuff like that. Just like go back and revisit some like older horror films and stuff. And um, I don't know. I feel like that'd be so cool to like sit in a room and watch that. Which it was kind of fun because I think I talked about this briefly in a video where I in Night of the Living Dead. So speaking of George A. Romero, in the film Night of the Living Dead, I actually visited the graveyard, like where they filmed the first opening scene of like when they're walking through the graveyard. That's in Pennsylvania, and so actually I was there and I walked around and found the tombstone that she's kind of like leaning on and stuff, which is really fun. I don't think they have any photos in here of it, but yeah. So George A. Romero is just interesting director. I would love to watch more of his films. I've only seen pretty much the main ones that he's put out. But let's see. Gonna pick up Navy SEALs on Vinegar Syndrome. Yes, I saw they announced that this week. Which I have that movie on Blu-ray. Um, which actually I just have this like cheap Blu-ray of it. Um, Great movie. I mean, I was not expecting. I was expecting this to be kind of cheesy when I first watched it, and it was actually a lot of fun. I would highly recommend checking it out. But um, yeah, it's one that I not was not expecting from Vinegar Syndrome. It doesn't feel like a Vinegar Syndrome title, but I kind of get why they're releasing it. So. Um, yeah, I probably won't be getting it from Vinegar Syndrome just because I have the Blu-ray and I don't know. But yes, it is, Kyle. Being a film slash movie collector is cool. I thought I was the only one who had this much enthusiasm towards film slash movies. Yes, I absolutely love it. Sorry, I need a drink. I I absolutely love collecting, and I think it's like um I don't know. There's so much interesting things that they've released over the years. So many interesting box sets and editions and different artwork variations, and like I don't know. It just makes you appreciate what's coming out now because you can understand what like we had in the past. And so um, I don't know. It's fun. I love collecting movies, and I love talking to other people who also you know collect movies as well. So um, do you have any movie store props? What do you mean by movie store props? Have any movie store props? Like stuff that was like used in a movie store, I'm assuming. Have any movie store props? I'm sorry, Tiffany, I do not know what you mean. Yes, okay, stuff that was used in a movie store. So I have stuff like, actually, I have this right here, which is kind of fun. I need to dust this off, but I have this, which is like a sign. This was sold in a or this was used in a family video store. And if you watch my full room video, I have a family video shelf down here. Family video, for those who are not from the Midwest, is just a rental store, similar to Blockbuster. I believe it was only Midwest. I don't think it was full, like, I don't think it was nationwide. I might be wrong in that, but um, yeah, in Ohio, it lasted till 2020, which is wild. Like you could still go in and rent movies. I remember shortly after things kind of started going back to normal in 2020, like Family Video, unfortunately, kind of like went under. But and they were selling off their whole inventory and stuff, which was fun. But I would say that's pretty much it in regards to like stuff from video stores. I mean, I have a bunch of which I regret it, but I had. Let's see, I don't have any around here. Um, whenever I bought movies from Family Video, they also came in a like a what's it called? Like a renter's. I think I have one here. Yes. So this was a Family Video case. So this was for the film Wreck. But the whenever you would rent a movie from Family Video, the disc would stay in here, and then you would leave the case at the like on the shelf, and then you would take this home, and so it was like magnetically released. There was like a little security code thing, so you couldn't just like walk out with this. But when they were selling off all their inventory, they just gave you these with all the movies that you were buying, and so I ended up with a ton of these. But unfortunately, I got rid of a bunch, which I kind of regret getting rid of all of them because they are kind of cool. But I have a decent amount of them still laying around here. But it's just kind of a fun, like, back in the day, this was like a normal thing. But I think that's all I have when it comes to movie stuff or movie store props. I was a little too young when Blockbuster was going out of business to really appreciate it or to really like. I wasn't really collecting things, um, and so I didn't really buy much when they were going out of business, which is unfortunate now. But um, which Second World War film would you like would you like a 4K release? Let's see, World War II film. I mean, my favorite's probably Saving Private Ryan, which we already have on 4K. Is this World War II? Yes. This I would highly. First off, I'd recommend this movie just in general, but this would also be fantastic to get on 4K. But this is a film. The Cranes Are Flying. This takes place during World War II. It's fantastic. I don't know. There might be a 4K out there of this, but I'm not sure. As far as Criterion though, it is only available on Blu-ray, and so it's from 1957. It's in Russian, but it's fantastic. I'd highly recommend checking this out if you've not seen it, and if you are a fan of like war, like especially like war films, this is a must see. Um, but cool, Kyle. It looks like a sign that had in the classic Blockbuster. Yeah, I think they had because like I got rid of a couple of these because I bought pretty much all of them. I think they were like $3 or $4 a piece. But I've gotten rid of a couple like duplicates over the years. I have more, but yeah, they had like I had this movie sale sign, and there was like a new release sign and stuff. Like these would be like right over the different sections on the walls. But I need to hang this up on this side of the room. Do you think rental stores will ever make a comeback? The thing is, it like they might, and it might not be necessarily a like the way it was like a rental store. They might be more of a like a museum type of thing. Um, I know, for instance, like I'm friends with this one guy who is kind of setting up a something like that, like a so like almost like an exhibit. And so to like almost recreate the rental store. And I know a lot of people have tried to recreate the rental store within their own movie collection. Um, and so I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever come back in the sense of like to rent films, because I mean streaming is essentially what really hurt the. I mean between streaming and the price drop of physical media, where you can go out and buy a movie for 12, 15, $20. I mean those between those two things. I mean rental stores really were thriving when movies were just too expensive to buy on your like by yourself, and streaming didn't exist. But I don't know, it might come back at some point. I mean they always say everything's on a pendulum, so it might swing back to being like closer to like a museum or something like that, or some kind of exhibit to like walk through, or I don't know. I would love it if the rental store came back, because one of my favorite things of working at a movie store was just talking to the customers about movies, and it was so fun getting recommendations and recommending stuff, and just you know I don't know, it was so fun just to talk about stuff like that. Let's see. The Thin Red Line would be lovely on 4K. I would also agree. The Thin Red Line would be amazing on 4K as well. Thank you. I appreciate your answer. No problem. Do you collect documentaries? Um, Not like directly. If I come across a documentary that I want to see, I'll buy it. But I wouldn't say like I don't have like a documentary section in my room or anything. Um, but I'd say more or less any documentaries that I do come across that I would really, I mean, it's Criterion. That I would want to, hunt for, I guess, is Criterion. But um, let's see. Yes, exactly. By the way, do you still have your membership card, Blockbuster? Cards Blockbuster. If you can believe it, I do. She might have. Yes. Um, excuse me. I would say, I mean, I personally do not have membership cards to any of the stores, because Blockbuster was just slightly before my time. I mean, I'm 27, and so it was like just ever so slightly, you know, I mean, I remember going into a Blockbuster a few times, but I was just too young to have a membership card or anything like that. Um, and so I barely missed out on the whole Blockbuster experience, which I would love um, to um, yeah, to like go back and like check that out and relive the Blockbuster experience. But um yeah, I think I'm probably gonna be wrapping this up, mostly because my throat is killing me. I talked for like an hour straight. So I need to be drinking more water. But is there any other final thoughts, questions, concerns? Let's see. You should start collecting Anchor Bay movies. The half or the have a pretty great. They have a okay, yeah. They have a pretty great library, bigger than Criterion. Um, yeah, I would love to. Maybe I need to look into that. Maybe I need to have an Anchor Bay section. I do. I will say that I do. If I do come across like an Anchor Bay like horror title, and it's cheap enough, I will grab it. But um, yeah, I'll have to. I don't know. I'll have to maybe think about putting an Anchor Bay collection within my my whole movie room. But um, let's see, another prayer for or prayer of the Roller Boys. Let's see, another right? Yeah, okay, wait, another prayer of the Roller Boys. Another one. Or do you own it? It's classic. I have it on my. I do not. I do not have that one. Unfortunately, I've not seen it either. But thanks for starting early. Yes. I think, let's see. Thanks for starting early. Um, yeah. No problem. Um, but okay. So, although wait, are you guys? Thanks for starting early. So I started it at 7 o'clock of Ohio time. I think that's usually my usual time is 7. Um, I don't know. Does it affect? I guess if you're in England, do they do daylight saving time in England? Actually, I don't know. This is yeah. I didn't think of it even the whole because I think this last week was daylight savings. Last weekend was. Um, but I will be starting it at 7 o'clock Ohio time. So Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. If you are from around the world, it's midnight here. Um, in the not sure where you're from, but um, it's 1 hour early here. Okay, gotcha. Yes, because I think it's like if you don't if you're not on the daylight savings time, which I know not all the world does, which it's beyond me why we still do daylight savings time. I just don't understand. It just messes everybody up. Um, I would say yes. So 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I hope that works out for everybody. I know it's late somewhere else in the world, so um, yeah. Hopefully next week too, I'll be doing the live stream on my computer. Midnight here as well in the Netherlands. Okay. Um, so maybe I might even push it, maybe even 1 hour earlier. I don't know. We'll see. Leave your comments, I guess, down below for the if you're rewatching this too. If leave your comments on like what times are good to what's it do these things because still trying to figure it out. But next week I will be doing it on the computer, and so I'm very excited because I think I can do some more stuff on the computer versus on the phone. So well, as always, great chat. Good night, Kyle and online fam via NYC. Have a great week. Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. But if you guys do not know, I mentioned this in my last video, but I have a letterbox now, or letterboxed now, and if you want, it's linked in all of my previous videos. Go check that out. I'm mainly just using it just to keep track of everything that I've seen and everything that I want to see. I'm not really rating movies, but yeah, that's just if you want to kind of get a taste of what I've seen in my I'm still working on adding onto it, but if you are curious and you want to find out what I watched, you can check that out. But um, yeah, I think that will do it. But thank you guys again for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I always have fun with these. I hope you guys enjoy talking and stuff. It's I always look forward to it every week, um, and expect a video sometime this week as well. But yeah, thank you guys again. And wherever you guys are in the world, good night. Have a great week. Watch some great movies if you can. And I will see you guys all next week. So bye guys. Thank you for watching.